Hey everybody, welcome to the 1968 California Special that I've been working on. You've seen on my channel that I've talked about my 64 and a half convertible. I still has been in my family forever. And my 2016 Paxton Supercharged. But today I'm going to be talking about a couple of things. So I recently, a few months ago, picked up a California Special, 1968, 289. Originally it was a two-barrel car. It had been changed over to with an Edelbrock, four-barrel Edelbrock intake, and just a really cool car. And they only made about 4,000 of these cars. Anybody's familiar with them? And then they're making the newer ones. I think they stopped the last one. I think it was like 2014, I think, or 2015. 2014, I think they made the last one. And I've heard that they're probably going to be bringing it back. So lots of history on this car. It was originally built as kind of a copy of the Green Hornet and Little Red, which was recently found and restored by Jackson Barrett. So I found this car up in the towards I think it was Rancho Cordova area, and a guy had it and his daughter had been driving it for a long time. So, but she needed a lot of TLC, and but I was like, that's stuff I can do myself. It ran pretty good at the time. Since I've owned the car, I've rebuilt the transmission, redid the interior, carpeting. What else have I done to it? Let's see here. You can see that carpeting, package tray, stereo. I put the original steering wheel back in it, replaced the entire dash, put a USB charger in it, electronic trunk release. Went back to, it had these 17-inch torque thrust style wheels with low profiles, but it rode so terrible that I decided to go back with more traditional size GT 500 Legendaries style wheels with good BF Goodrich radial TAs all the way around, staggered, a little bit smaller in the front because I was still rubbing. The car had a 1-inch drop in the front, 1-inch drop in the back, and so I love its stance, but it did have a tendency to rub, especially with those 17-inch tires. So it was just another reason to get rid of those wheels. Thanks to a buddy of mine who bought those. Redid the dash, like I said. Let's see what else. I had a problem with it is the booster was bad, so I went ahead and replaced the booster. That took forever to figure out what was going on there. Just love the car, though. It handles great, gets lots of attention. Everybody seems to love this car. It has about a 3-4 foot paint job on it. Originally, it was a Brittany blue car, and I plan on taking it back to that Brittany blue. But lately, I've noticed that GT 500 blue, and I really like that one a lot. So I don't know, but Brittany blue is probably the color I'll go back to, that silver blue. The latest addition that I've done to this car is I recently put old air on it, not vintage air, but old air conditioning system. And I ran into a few problems, one of which was I wasn't very happy with old air about because they sent me the lower pulley, and knowing that it was too big, sent it to me anyways without even a mention or a note, or, I mean, they could have put a chicken scratch note on a piece of paper and I would have been grateful for that. And so I went ahead and mounted it. There's my daughter. Hi. Evelyn. So I went ahead and mounted it, and it was about pretty big. So I had to do a lot of grinding on the top pulley and the bottom pulley. They finally did admit that they did send me the wrong pulley and that it was a supplier error issue. And so that way, but there wasn't much choice I had. I ordered another one through CJ Pony, and they must use the same one because it was exactly the same oversize, and thus had to be ground down a lot for it to stop rubbing. So finally got that done. Following the instructions on the old air kit, they called for the 3/4 spacers. They sent a bunch of spacers in their kit. Unfortunately, the spacers they suggest for the top of this one, I don't know if this is just a weird 289. I don't know. But it required a 1/2-inch spacer up at the front. And then I actually had to buy spacers and trim them down for the back. The idler pulley, I also had to take about a 1/4 inch off of it as well in order to get my belt alignment done right and move everything to, back far enough so that my belt alignment was correct with the lower pulley. Other than that, it's been so far a great system. I have a buddy of mine that's going to charge it and crimp all my hoses. There's like 2 hoses that I have to have crimped. 1, 2, I think maybe 3 hoses that have to be crimped. And of course you need a special tool for that in order to be able to crimp that properly so they don't leak. And he's also going to charge it for me after he puts a vacuum on it for about a couple of hours. But other than that, it's because I'm kind of at the final phase of this. I really do want to say kudos to Vintage Air, Old Air. I keep saying Vintage Air, but it's Old Air. Because they do have that factory look with the center vent and then the lower vents, and then they look like old factory style controls, but it's all electronics, all wires, no more cables, all that. The old heater box, everything had to be come out. And they also call for the cold air vent on the left side, the driver's side. You know, that one that has the A on it. Everybody loves that in those old Mustangs. But that had to come out. And they give you a seal cap to go over that and screw that in place. That was lots of profanity to get that bad boy out. It requires a lot of profanity. But I got it out because if you have fresh air coming in, I guess it has a tendency to freeze these condensers pretty quickly, or whatever it's called inside the car. But so far I like it, and it's looking so far so good. It's got good air pressure on it when it blows. It feels good on the face. I'm looking forward to seeing what it's like when it's refrigerated. My plan for this car is to make it a daily driver and say goodbye to the 2016. So just gotten kind of bored with it, so kind of done everything I can, but there's still lots of projects to do on this one, so I'm excited about that. Anyways, so if you have any questions, be sure and comment. Look forward to seeing people again. If you have any questions about the 64, I still have it sitting here, beautiful 260 automatic original car. My grandmother drove it since 1966, so I'm excited to have it, 3rd generation, and my kids, it'll be a 4th generation car eventually. I'll end up taking that car off my hands. So I'm busy teaching them about all the ins and outs of how that car works. So anyways, talk to you soon.